All right, let's get started. So welcome to Performance Basics. I am Coach Matt. We're going to get started here in a seated position. So last week we talked a little bit about our breathing tempo, so being able to breathe through that belly and not through the chest or the shoulders. So we're going to go ahead and just try to remember what that was like. So a nice, good, comfortable seated position with weight equally distributed on both hips. So we're going to do the same tempo, 4 seconds inhale, 2-second hold, and then a slow 6-second exhale. All right. So let's go ahead and inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathe normally. So hopefully, focus on breathing through that belly, trying to relax those shoulders a little bit. Keep that in mind as we go through all of our movements today. We focus on that belly breathing, kind of working to put the air a little bit lower. And that, in a way, helps to brace our core when we do movements such as squats and deadlifts, any overhead pressing like that. Kind of all plays into it. All right, that's really the basics of performance right there, is the breath work. All right, so if you have that trigger point ball, baseball, golf ball, anything, we're going to go ahead and use that a little bit. So we're going to focus on those hips. So in that same spot that we talked about last week, if you find kind of that bony prominence of your hip, I'm going to go about 2 inches over, 1 inch down. There's going to be kind of a nice little indent spot. It should not be a bone, pro tip. Go ahead and put the ball there. And we're just going to kind of ease our way onto that ball. This is a spot that usually needs a lot of love. So if we're only going to pick one point, we're going to pick that guy. So roll around a little bit till you find a bit of a knot, a bit of a tight spot. All right. And then you kind of move that hip inward, internal, external rotation, kind of help get some blood flow through there. Some dynamic stretching in that trigger point. Let's go ahead and roll that over to our other hip. We'll be focused a little bit on that lower body more so than anything else today. So that's why we're going to be focused on getting some trigger point therapy in there. It's just any tight spots. So the nice thing about this kind of like a self-massage here is that you can't really overdo it. So you can do this before your workout, after your workout, here in the middle of your workout, in the morning before bed, anytime you really want to. Wherever you're feeling a little tightness, let's go ahead and get on that ball and work it out. All right, that's all we're going to do with the ball there today. So let's bring it up to our feet. Let's get moving a little bit. So we're going to start with those feet nice and wide. We're going to move into what we'll call some Cossack squats. So we're going to pick a leg, any leg, and just we're going to bend that knee, kind of like a lateral lunge. We're just going to lower ourselves into it, pop up out of it. Go into the other side, lower ourselves into it, and bring us out of it. So we're going to go back and forth here for a few, just working all that trigger point therapy to help loosen up those hips. Then we're going to kind of put that into action and see how that feels. So usually any tightness in that glute is going to kind of prevent us from kind of getting into this laterally extended position. So allowing us to work that out and get those tight spots out there kind of helps prevent or promote that mobility there. All right. So the kind of next stage of this, instead of coming back up, we're going to stay low as we just kind of shift across here. So if you notice like that, the level of my head, the level of my chest is going to stay consistent as we just slide back and forth here. And if you can, think about kind of getting a little bit lower even every couple shifts. to really start to feel those glutes, those internal hips. Looking to get that leg fully extended. We're going to go one more time back and forth here. Boom and boom. All right, let's bring it up. Let's stretch that out. So now we work that lateral. So we're going to work that frontal plane a little bit. So with a traditional lunge here, for our lunge, we're going to, the easiest way to kind of get into a proper lunge position is go ahead to a kneeling position. So we'll actually start here. So what we're looking for in a lunge is front knee, back knee, both at 90 degrees, right? Front heel or front ankle, back ankle, both 90 degrees as well, okay? So you're going to kind of shift your weight towards that front foot, push into that front foot to stand it up, and that is the distance that we typically want to take when we go for a lunge, okay? So whether you're going for a step back lunge, right, or if you're going to a forward step lunge, it's going to be the same kind of length there. So whichever one is more comfortable for you. Typically we go into that front lunge to kind of work to really load that front foot, all right? But some people may find that it's a little bit aggressive on their knee, so that back lunge with a little more back loaded towards that back foot is sometimes a little bit more manageable, all right? So whichever version you prefer, we're just going to work for about 30 seconds worth of lunges here, just to kind of prime those hips in those ranges from the front to the back. We worked on that lateral already, so we'll work that range front to back. So notice our chest is staying nice and high here. All right, we're not folding down, trying not to press off those knees if we can. We can always modify this down with the angle of our back knee. So ideally we're getting down low, this knee is up off the ground, all right? If we need to shorten that, we can take this knee and just a very slight bend in that back knee, okay? The main point of focus here is this front quad, right? So as long as your weight stays kind of shifted forward, we're going to get the work that we need in that quad. All right, let's give those lunges a break. So we're going to move forward. That was kind of our single leg variations. And we're going to go for our 2-leg variation for our squat. So we're going to kind of work, let's just talk about the squat first, okay? So our feet are about just outside hip width apart, just about shoulder width apart here. We're going to be sending those hips back like you're sitting into a chair, okay? And then we're going to bend those knees, okay? A lot of people just like to fold forward. It's not so much a squat, but we do want to make sure that we are bending those knees into that squat, okay? Chest is able to stay high, able to see the ceiling as you squat, right? All those are good cues to keep that chest up, maintain that hip and knee bend, okay? So find a depth, again, that's comfortable for you, right? We don't necessarily have to get all the way down to the ground unless you really want to, but we do want to try to get some close to 90 degrees in those knees if you can manage. All right, so we had some warm-ups there. Now we're going to go into some tempo squats. So we're going to kind of combo that breath work that we did in the beginning with this strength, with that squat work that we just did now, okay? So a little bit different breath scheme here. What we're going to go is we're going to go for a 5-second lowering or 5-second inhale, okay? So we're going to go inhaling and lowering for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to do a 2-second hold for 2, 1, and then we're going to do a sharp exhale and stand up. All right, so it's going to be inhale, 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 inhale for 5 seconds. Hold for inhale 1, inhale 2, sharp exhale as we stand up, okay? So we're going to go for a few rounds of that. I'll count us out the first couple times and then kind of take it at your own pace from there, okay? So as we're lowering, we're inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale. Kind of get your breathing under control a little bit. And we'll go again. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale. 2 more like that. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale. One more time. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale. I want you to do 2 more on your own. That same thing, just trying to correlate that breath with that movement. I know it's a lot easier to kind of follow along with somebody else, but I want you to be able to maintain that movement and that breathing at the just as a mental challenge at the same time. It's kind of like the, what's it, rub your stomach, pat your head thing. Same thing. All right, I'm gonna do my last one here. 5 seconds. Inhale as we lower. 2 second hold at the bottom. Sharp exhale. All right. So mixing in some tempo work as opposed to just doing repetitions. It's going to help us kind of maintain a lot of that small muscular control, able to kind of sync up that breathing a little bit better, and just kind of makes us more aware of how our body reacts and adjusts when we go through a range of motion. All right, we're going to make our way down to the ground as we're talking about very, very foundational movements. We did some lunges, we did some squats, and of course we need to go for some push-ups. So we're going to kind of talk about the push-ups here first, and then we'll go into kind of a similar set with the breathing, okay? So push-ups, a lot of times seems very self-explanatory. You just get down on the ground and you do some push-ups, right? So we're going to kind of break this down from each position. So we're going to start with that top position, okay? So in our top position or a high plank position, we want to focus on a few things. So your pointer fingers, your index fingers, all right, I want those focused on going straight ahead, okay? So in this position, the pits of my elbows are kind of turned facing forward. That's what we want to see, all right? My weight is slightly shifted forward, all right, over my hands, over my wrists. All right, of course, if we need to hold in our modified on the knee position, we can do that as well. But regardless if you're here or if you're here, those hips are going to be in a nice straight line from my shoulders towards my ankles. All right, let's come off that hold for a second. All right, so top of that position, that high plank position, we're focused on tension through the body. So we're going to kind of find out where all that tension is going to go. So let's go, those index fingers going forward. Let's get in that high plank. So our fingers are spread out nice and wide on the ground. We're actively pushing our palms into the ground, all right? If you notice, my upper back between my shoulder blades is nice and flat, all right? We're not winged up like this. We're not caving that chest in. We're actively pressing away, creating as much space between the ground and my chest, okay? I'm gonna work to push my heels back away from me. This is gonna cause me to squeeze my quads and squeeze my glutes. There's that tension. So from the top of our head to the tip of our heel, we are as strong as steel. All right, let's take a quick little break. When we go into our lowering phase, so we're going to be focused on moving slowly like we did with that squat. Think about pulling yourself down towards the ground, okay? Don't let gravity pull you. I want you to be in control, lower yourself all the way down. So we're going to go just the lowering phase here. So let's get in that high plank. Everything we talked about, spread those fingers out. Index fingers pointing forward. Heels going backwards, squeezing those quads and glutes. All right? So we're going to pull ourselves down towards the ground. Those elbows are going to go back. I'm going to lower myself all the way to the ground, chest on the ground. All right? So let's take a look at where we are in this bottom position. Where are your hands? Are they next to your chest? Are they under your shoulders? Are they out in front of you somehow? All right? We want those hands to be right across our chest. We want those elbows to be pointed about 45 degrees going backwards. Okay? If you find your elbows are really tight in here, all right, I'm not as worried about that. We just want to make sure our elbows are not out here. Okay, even just on this bottom position, I can feel the front of those shoulders getting a little overstretched. All right, so we want to make sure those shoulders stay protected by keeping those hands tucked next to those chests. Again, those index fingers pointed forward, elbows about 45 degrees or so backwards. All right, let's go ahead and reset, get back up to the top. All right, we're gonna get all that tension, pushing those hands into the ground, right, nice flat back, heels away, quads and glutes nice and tight. One more time, we're gonna lower ourselves, being pulled down to the ground, still in control, all the way to that ground. Boom. Check out where our position is. Everything feels good. Great. Let's work our way back up. So now for our pushing part of it, we are going to really just inverse that. So the same control that we had going down, we're going to stop just before we hit the ground, and then we're going to start pushing away, just inversing that, just literally click and rewind on that tape, okay? So let's get in that high plank position, create that tension through those hands, through those arms, upper back, heels, glutes, quads. And we're going to pull ourselves down. Again, we're going to stop just before we touch the ground. And then slowly push away, inverting that. All right? Again, if you need to drop to your knees, we're going to go one more time. Pulling yourself down. Feel that tension through that chest. Pause at the bottom. And push away. Okay? I know it's difficult without any direct feedback of how you're doing. But kind of teaching yourself to be aware of how your body is moving kind of helps us figure out what is not quite syncing up well, where we may be a little imbalanced. If you're pushing a little harder with one hand or the other, you're starting to kind of rotate out. If one elbow is kind of flaring out and one's kind of staying tight, that may be another indicator of something going on in the shoulder. Plenty of things that could be going on, but we're trying to challenge you to think about, to kind of feel out how that movement is going, okay? So we're gonna do just a couple more reps here. If you need to as well, you can always grab a chair or the edge of the couch or something, and you can do your push-ups. Sorry, our little gnome. You can do push-ups on the edge here. It's the same concept, all right? Pointing fingers going forward, and we're gonna slowly lower ourselves down and push away, okay? That's just kind of bringing the ground up to you to make the resistance there a little bit lighter, okay? So we're just gonna do 3 more reps here. We're gonna be focused on the breathing that we did for our squats. So we're gonna do a 5-second lower, we're gonna do a 2-second hold at the bottom, and then a sharp exhale on the way up, okay? 3 reps of that. Let's get in that high plank. Let's get those checkpoints, right? Hands, shoulders, heels, quads, glutes. We're going to lower ourselves down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1, and exhale on the way up. One more time. Slowly lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale. Last time. Down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 1. Exhale. All right. Take a break. We'll check it out and stand up to our feet. Feeling good? Still with us? Great, great, great. So we're going to kind of recap what we did last week with our kind of activation drills here, our push recover. So I know we kind of squeezed this in at the very end last week. Starting in a nice, good athletic position, this front foot. All right, we're pushing into, we have a little step, and we're going to recover that back foot. So we're in that kind of same athletic stance that we just started in, okay? A small push, small recover. Small push, recover, okay? So this is where we're going, shifting our weight in, recovering our weight back to center. Let's go back the other way, pushing off that back foot, taking that small step, recover, push, recover, push, recover, push, recover. All right, we're gonna go a couple more times back and forth, just kind of feel that out. I know there's kind of a weird transition from those push-ups, but we're gonna take that athleticism, being in tune with our body and put this into something else, okay? Back foot is doing the pushing. That's what I mean by push. All right, and we're stepping with that front foot, recovering that back foot. Push, recover, push, recover. All right, one more time, going back. Okay, so next kind of phase of this, we're going to go 2 pushes, and then we're going to come a bound on the way back, okay? So a bound is classified as a lateral or forward, whatever directional kind of jump from one foot landing on the opposite foot, okay? So we're going to test some balance here as well. So what it's going to look like, we're in that good athletic position. We're going to push, recover, all right, push, recover, all right? And I'm going to come back to that start by loading onto that left foot. Same kind of push, but I'm going to recover back kind of twice as long, okay? So again, what's going to look like, push, recover, bound, and recover, okay? So I'll give the option here, if you want to take that bound to that balance, all right, just focus on kind of regaining your stance here in the single leg, you can, or if we're not quite there, we can certainly bring that other foot down for that recovery foot, okay? We're going to go a couple times back and forth here, push, recover, bound, and recover. All right, so there's going to be 3 more of those. I'm going to have you go at your own pace here. Just working on that athleticism. And once you get that 3rd one, we'll stand it up. We'll make our way to the other side. So now we were pushing left, bounding back towards the right. Now we're going to kind of inverse that. We're going to push right, bound to recover on the left, okay? So outside foot again is that push foot, and then bounding and recovering, all right? Again, we're gonna go 4 on this side to keep that nice and easy, nice and even, I guess. There's 3. All right. So all that mobility, that lateral work that we started with really comes into play here as we're very mobile through those hips. So it's going to be a lot easier to kind of control those hips with that musculature around there to kind of contract and loosen up when we're calling upon them. They're not consistently tight or anything like that, okay? So counter our push-ups here. We're going to work a little bit of our backside. We're going to call some bent over IYTs, okay? This is going to be the last thing that we do for today. So IYTs, think about like the letters of the alphabet, I, Y, and T. Our position to start here is those hips going backwards, all right? And you're going to kind of take that chest almost like you're looking towards the ground or looking over the edge of a cliff, okay? Get as much weight behind you as possible, all right? So we're not real toesy, no risk of falling over, right? So hips going back, nice and weighted towards the backside. Arms going to hang straight down. We're going to take both arms. We're going to lift those straight forward. We're going to form a nice I, right, from the tips of our fingers towards our hips. We're going to lower those back down to that starting position. We're going to take those arms out, kind of 45 degrees out for a T. My thumbs are going up, or I'm sorry, for a Y. I don't know my letters. We're going to bring that back down to the start. And again, leading with those thumbs, I'm going to bring that L straight across for that T. That one's the T. All right, we're going to come back down. We're going to a couple more times. Again, think about the tempo that you're moving through these letters, extending those arms nice and long. Small hold at the top of each rep here. Should feel these right in the middle of that upper back. So all those postural muscles between our shoulder blades on the backside and at the base of our neck. All right, this is how we really make sure we show them some love after sitting at our computer for a few hours each day. It's a great idea to take a quick little movement snack, 2 minutes or so, do some IYTs. Make sure that we are countering all that forward head posture. We're going to go one more round here. Big squeeze at the top here. We're going to go up and hold. Still reaching those arms nice and long. And relax. Bring that into that Y. Nice and strong. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. And relax. Last time here. Out to that T. Big squeeze. Those shoulder blades together. And relax. Bring it on up. All right. That's going to do it for us today in Performance Basics. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you want to roll on over to abs class, that is happening in just a couple minutes. That's on the other Skype link. Otherwise, I'll hang around for another minute if you have questions, and we will see you next class. Enjoy your day.